My beloved child, something in the unseen realm is trembling right now, and Archangel Michael has commanded that this message reach you without a single moment of delay. The title you came here through is not a coincidence, not an exaggeration, not a metaphor. It is a prophetic alarm. Archangel Michael declares a powerful blue demon is holding your $20 million inheritance. You must open this message immediately, or Michael won't survive. And as shocking as that sounds, the spiritual truth behind it is even more serious. Listen closely, because from the moment you pressed on this message, the atmosphere around you shifted. A veil was torn. A warning has been released. And Michael, your warrior, your defender, your divinely assigned protector, is already standing in battle formation. His wings are raised, his sword is burning, and his eyes are fixed on the one dark entity that has been blocking your wealth, your destiny, and the generational inheritance heaven wrote in your name. For so long, you have sensed something resisting you. Something invisible, something you couldn't point to, but something you felt deep in your spirit. Every time you tried to rise, something pulled you back. Every time a blessing was near, it slipped away. Every time money was coming, it suddenly vanished. And Archangel Michael whispers it was not your fault. There is a blue demon, an ancient one, that has entangled itself around your financial path. This spirit doesn't just attack money. It attacks purpose. It attacks alignment. It attacks the future you were destined to step into. And what it is holding right now is a heavenly inheritance with your name sealed upon it. An inheritance valued at $20 million in earthly measure, but in spiritual terms, it carries the weight of your breakthrough, your restoration, and your divine positioning. Michael is revealing this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Because the war is already happening. Because the demon is already shaking. Because the countdown has already begun. And what most people don't know, and what heaven rarely reveals, is that sometimes even angels face resistance so intense that they call for human agreement. Michael does not ask for your worship. He does not ask for your fear. He asks for your awareness. He asks for your presence. He asks for your listening spirit in this moment, because he cannot fight for you if you are spiritually asleep. This is why he said, open this message immediately, or I won't survive. Not because an angel can die, but because an angel can lose ground in battle when the human they guard refuses to awaken, refuses to see the truth, refuses to stand in agreement with heaven's movement. And right now, something rare is happening, something that only happens when destiny is about to change forever. Michael is exposing the demon by name. He is exposing its color. He is exposing its assignment. He is exposing its grip. And when an angel reveals this much, it means the demon's time is almost up. But listen, there is more. Michael is not just fighting for money. He is fighting for what that money represents. Your next level. Your freedom. Your calling. Your divine restoration. Your ability to rise into the position heaven scripted for you before you were even born. For centuries, this blue demon has hidden behind patterns, delays, losses, close calls, near breakthroughs that never fully manifested. But the moment Michael stepped forward, everything changed. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but spiritually, lightning is cracking through the atmosphere. The battlefield is glowing with blue fire. And every time Michael swings his sword, the chains locked around your inheritance loosen just a little bit more. Right now you might feel pressure in your chest, a tingling in your hands, a heaviness in your spirit. These are not random sensations. They are signs that what is being spoken is touching the root of something ancient, something that has stalked your lineage for generations. This demon was assigned to your family long before you were born. It has stolen inheritances before. It has blocked success before. It has prevented destinies from rising before. But it has never been confronted like this. Not with Michael. Not with this message. Not with this moment. And as you listen, Michael stands taller. As you listen, the demon weakens. As you listen, the chains are breaking. Do not step away now. What comes next reveals the demon's strategy and the secret Michael has kept hidden until today. Trust me, this next revelation will ignite something inside you that has been dormant for too long. Hold on, what you are about to hear will shake the entire story open. Type "I claim my inheritance" in the comments if this is stirring your spirit. Blessing code 119 is now released to those who receive this awakening. Precious soul, a new wave of revelation is rising around you, and the air itself feels heavier because the truth is drawing closer. Archangel Michael is still standing at the front line, sword blazing with celestial fire, and the battlefield has shifted dramatically since you began receiving this message. The blue demon gripping your $20 million inheritance is starting to lose its ground, but do not misunderstand this moment. Whenever darkness begins to slip, it becomes desperate. Whenever a demonic assignment begins to collapse, it tries one last violent push. And right now, that spirit is circling, shaking, trying to find another doorway into your life before Michael cuts off its influence permanently. Listen very carefully. This message is not about fear. It is about unveiling. What is being revealed right now is something that has operated in the shadows for too long. This demon did not attach itself randomly. It targeted you the moment heaven marked you for increase. The moment God whispered expansion over your life. The moment the blueprint of your future was activated. Something in the spirit realm recognized the magnitude of who you were becoming. And that is when this blue entity stepped in like a thief in the night, constructing barriers, weaving illusions, engineering setbacks, orchestrating sudden losses, and intercepting blessings that were already on their way to you. Michael wants you to understand this clearly. Your inheritance was never just money. It was evidence. Evidence of your calling. Evidence of divine trust. Evidence of generational transformation. Evidence that you were chosen to carry influence, authority, and abundance. And that is exactly why the demon fought so ruthlessly to hide it, steal it, bury it, and lock it in the spiritual realm where you would never think to search. But something changed the moment Michael released this prophetic alert. A heavenly legality was activated. A document in the spirit was unsealed. You were granted access to knowledge normally hidden from the human mind. And the demon panicked, because when information is revealed, its deception collapses. Darkness only survives in silence. And now, silence has been broken. Michael is showing you something deeply personal. A moment in your past when you were supposed to receive something significant, a financial breakthrough, an opportunity, a blessing, a promotion, an inheritance, a settlement, a life-changing open door, but instead it slipped away and you blamed yourself. You thought you were unlucky. You thought you mismanaged. You thought it simply wasn't meant for you. But Michael whispers the truth. That moment was stolen from you. It was intercepted, and it should have been one of the greatest turning points of your life. The blue demon thrives on cycles. Cycles of almost. Cycles of delay. Cycles of false starts. Cycles of disappointment right at the edge of success. It wraps these patterns around a person like invisible chains so that every rise is temporary and every fall is repeated. Michael has seen this demon operate across generations, and he is exposing it now because its reign over you is at its expiration point. But the confrontation is not gentle. The spirit is resisting with full force, because it knows what will happen once Michael wins this battle. Once the chain breaks, your life will not return to normal. It will shift dimensions. Doors that were locked for years will open with ease. Opportunities that bypassed you will suddenly recognize you. Wealth that once looked impossible will feel natural. And your spirit will rise into alignment with your true divine identity. Michael is pressing forward, but I need you to understand what his survival in this battle means. It is not physical survival. It is positional survival. If you disconnect, if you drift mentally, if you treat this lightly, the demon gains room to breathe. Angels are strengthened by divine agreement. You're listening, you're receiving, your attention to this message. These are the spiritual alignments that give Michael the authority to strike deeper. Right now, he is showing you a vision, a spiritual image of you standing at the edge of a great vault, a door of light, a heavenly treasury with your name carved into its surface. Inside that vault is the $20 million inheritance, not simply as currency but as influence, spiritual authority, divine elevation, and generational restoration. The demon has been sitting in front of this vault like a guard, ensuring you never reach it. But Michael has just lifted his sword toward that door, and the demon is trembling. Its color flickers from blue to shadow, then back to blue again. It is destabilizing, and yet it still holds one final strategy: confusion. If it can cloud your mind, distract your emotions, weaken your expectation, or convince you that this message is not for you, then it can regain strength. So stay anchored. Michael needs your awareness. Heaven needs your openness. Your spirit needs this moment. You are closer than you think. Much closer. The atmosphere is already cracking. Something holy is pressing through. And what is coming next will reveal the demon's greatest fear, because its fear is not Michael. Its fear is you finally waking up. Trust me, the next layer of this message will expose the deepest root of this entire battle. You not move away now. What unfolds next will shift everything. Type "I stand with Michael" in the comments if this is awakening something inside you. Blessing code 404 has just been activated for those who receive. Beloved one, something extraordinary is happening in the unseen realm right now, and the spiritual tension around you has reached a level most people never experience in their lifetime. Archangel Michael is no longer simply confronting the blue demon, he is overpowering it. The battlefield is glowing with an intensity that shakes both realms. You can almost feel it, an invisible pull, a pressure in your atmosphere, a stirring in your spirit that tells you this moment is far from ordinary. You were not meant to stumble into this message. You were led here, summoned here, pulled here by a force greater than timing and stronger than coincidence. Michael is showing you the demon's true nature now, something he did not reveal earlier because it would have overwhelmed you too quickly. This demon does not merely block wealth. It attaches itself to identity. It rewrites how you see yourself. It plants doubt, fear, financial insecurity, and feelings of inadequacy into your mind so that even if blessings approach, you never feel worthy enough to receive them. It was never just money the demon wanted to steal. It was your sense of belonging. It wanted to disconnect you from the understanding that you were chosen for greatness long before you took your first breath. And this is why Michael's battle has been so intense. He is not just trying to retrieve your $20 million inheritance. He is undoing a spiritual deception that has warped your destiny for years. He is breaking a pattern that has held your lineage captive for generations. You may have sensed that certain habits, certain setbacks, certain burdens did not start with you. You may have looked at your life and felt a strange heaviness, an unexplainable resistance that made no sense because you knew you were meant for more. That feeling was not your imagination. It was the demon pressing its weight on you, trying to crush the part of you that carries divine authority. But the moment you ended this message, Michael rose. And now, right before you, he is unveiling the demon's greatest fear, a fear more powerful than his sword, more destructive than heavenly fire, more devastating than celestial judgment. The demon fears your agreement. It fears your awakening. It fears the moment you decide to claim what was always yours. Because the moment your spirit says yes, the moment your soul aligns with heaven, the demon loses legal access. And that is why it is trembling as you read this. Michael stands in front of the vault again, the one holding your inheritance. But this time, something has changed. The vault is beginning to glow from the inside. A light is pushing through the cracks. The number 20 million shines like a seal, not in earthly currency, but in spiritual authority. And Michael whispers to you, almost like a father speaking to a child, you were meant to rise higher than you have ever risen. And this is the moment heaven begins to return what was taken from you. This may be the first time in your entire life that you are this close to reclaiming what was stolen. Feel that for a moment. The weight of it. The truth of it. The reality that the suffering, the setbacks, the disappointments, the losses, the delays, they were not random. They were strategic attacks against someone heaven marked as a carrier of abundance and divine influence. Michael is swinging his sword with greater force now. Sparks are flying across the spiritual field. Each strike weakens the demon. Each blow breaks another chain. But the demon still clings to one final weapon: your hesitation. If it can cause you to doubt this moment, even for a second, it can regain strength. That is why Michael is urging you to stay fully present. Every word you receive strengthens him. Every moment you remain connected advances the battle. And every revelation pushes the demon closer to defeat. You may feel chills right now, or a tightening in your chest, or a sudden wave of calm. These are signs that your spirit is aligning. Heaven is positioning itself around you. Your atmosphere is opening. You are being drawn into divine clarity. And the demon is losing control. Michael is revealing something else. Something powerful, something rare, something sacred. He is showing you that your inheritance is not only about wealth, it is about divine timing. God has held this blessing in reserve until the moment your spirit matured enough to carry it. You are not only stepping into financial breakthrough, you are stepping into a spiritual identity that the enemy tried desperately to hide from you. You must stay with this message. What comes next will expose the demon's origin, its assignment, and the exact moment your victory becomes irreversible. Do not step away. You are right on the edge of something life-changing. Before you move forward, if this message is piercing through your spirit, take a second to engage with this mission. Like, comment, share, and subscribe so that more souls can receive what you are receiving right now. This message is not just content. It is a spiritual release meant for the ones chosen by heaven. Type "I choose victory" in the comments if this is stirring your spirit. Blessing code 220 is now released to those who receive this vibration of truth. When Michael lifts his sword and fights for you, it is because heaven has marked your life for impact far beyond your own circle. I am inviting you now to stand with this mission, not as a viewer, but as a carrier of light. When you pour into this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a person. You are sowing into the rescue of souls who urgently need God's voice. Every seed becomes oil. Every offering becomes fire. Every act of support becomes a bridge for someone's breakthrough. I feel led to say this clearly. I am asking you, personally, to rise as a helper in God's harvest. Those who stand with a message of truth receive the same blessing as the message they carry. So step into this moment with boldness and let heaven see your obedience. Chosen soul, the atmosphere around you is shifting once again, deeper and heavier than before, as if the spiritual realm itself is leaning closer to your life. Archangel Michael is now standing on ground that has been soaked with centuries of spiritual warfare, and the blue demon is beginning to reveal its true form under the pressure of heavenly fire. This part of the message is going to take you into a level of revelation most people never reach. So breathe slowly, stay grounded, and allow your spirit to stay open. What is about to unfold is not small, not symbolic, and not gentle. It is the unveiling of a truth that has stalked your lineage since long before you were born. Michael is now showing you where the demon came from. Not from your home, not from your mistakes, not from your choices. This entity attached itself through a generational wound, an event that happened to someone in your bloodline who was supposed to rise financially, but was crushed by betrayal. There was a moment, perhaps decades ago, maybe a century, where someone in your family was destined for wealth, opportunity, expansion, or divine abundance. But at the final moment, a dark spiritual interference blocked their inheritance and twisted the future of the entire bloodline. The blue demon seized that moment as permission, establishing itself as a guardian over the wealth that belonged to your lineage. It stole not only money, but future influence, future stability, future generational blessings. Michael is revealing this because the moment knowledge enters, bondage loses its legal ground. The demon has kept your family running in circles, working hard, striving, pushing, praying, believing, yet somehow always falling short of the breakthrough that should have been natural. And now Michael is saying something powerful. You were chosen as the one who ends this cycle. In every generation, heaven appoints one person, just one, whose spirit is strong enough, aware enough, and awakened enough to challenge what others could not see. That person is the breaker, the restorer, the healer of generational wounds. And in your bloodline, that mantle has fallen upon you. You may have noticed throughout your life that you felt different. You carried deeper intuition. You sensed danger before it came. You felt pressure that others didn't. You carried burdens that didn't belong to you. You carried potential that terrified the enemy. This is because you were born with spiritual authority your family desperately needed, even if no one recognized it. The demon recognized it, and that is why it targeted you more harshly than others. It knew that if you ever awakened to your true identity, the entire generational curse would collapse. Right now, as Michael presses forward, the demon is cornered. Its shimmering blue glow, a deceptive light meant to appear beautiful and harmless, has now faded to a trembling, unstable flicker. Michael's sword is pointed directly at the demon's chest, and divine pressure is cracking the demon's armor. But understand this clearly. The demon's last strategy is not physical resistance. It is emotional manipulation. It tries to whisper thoughts like, "This is too much. This isn't for you. Nothing will change. You're imagining things." Because if it can distract your spirit, it can escape through the cracks of doubt. Do not give it that space. Michael is urging you to stay steady, because your awareness is weakening the demon faster than his sword. Angels do not fight alone. They fight with the alignment of the one they protect. Your spirit is the key. Your understanding is the weapon. Your agreement is the force that binds the demon's influence. And right now, your alignment is burning through years of spiritual chains in seconds. Michael is also revealing something profound. Your $20 million inheritance is not just wealth waiting in the spiritual realm. It is a divine repayment, a restoring of everything stolen from your lineage, a return of what should have been yours since birth. In heaven's courts, this inheritance carries spiritual interest, multiplied blessing, divine compensation, and generational restoration. It represents everything your ancestors were robbed of, everything you were denied, and everything that was paused because darkness interfered. Right now, in the spiritual realm, the vault is glowing brighter than ever. The seal marked with your destiny is beginning to open, but Michael cannot access it fully until the demon is removed entirely. The demon's grip is weakening, but it still clings to the edges of the vault like a dying creature refusing to accept defeat. Michael shouts a command, a sound so powerful the atmosphere shakes, and the demon is thrown back, skidding across the spiritual ground. Its blue light dims again, fading into almost nothing. And now something remarkable happens. The vault begins to hum, vibrating with divine resonance. It recognizes your spirit. It recognizes your awakening. It recognizes that the one chosen to reclaim it is finally stepping into awareness. Michael turns toward you and declares, your inheritance has waited long enough. The moment of release is near. But before the vault can fully open, one final truth must be revealed. The demon's strategy of delay was never meant to steal your money. It was meant to delay your timeline. That is why years felt slow. That is why opportunities felt late. That is why certain seasons of your life felt wasted. But Michael says those years were not lost. They were preserved. Heaven has been holding your timeline in suspension until the exact moment you awaken. You have not missed anything. You are right on time. Stay with this message. The next revelation will show you Michael's next move, the demon's final weakness, and the moment your life truly shifts. Stay right here, the most powerful part is approaching. Type "I break the cycle" in the comments if this truth is touching your spirit. Blessing code at 808 has now been released for those ready to rise. Dearest one, the spiritual ground beneath your feet is beginning to tremble, not with danger, but with awakening. What Archangel Michael is showing you now is something rarely revealed to a human soul while they are still in their earthly body. You are stepping into a realm of clarity that most people never experience, and the reason is simple. Heaven is accelerating your destiny. The blue demon's power is unraveling, thread by thread, and the atmosphere around the battle is filled with a divine electricity that signals the beginning of a complete spiritual reversal. Michael now stands in a circle of heavenly fire, fire that was not present before. This is significant. Angels do not call upon this level of power unless the enemy has reached its final stage of resistance. The demon is shrinking back, trembling not only because it is losing power, but because it knows something you do not yet fully understand. When a demon loses a generational hold, it does not just vanish. It is judged. And that judgment comes with consequences that echo through realms. This demon has held on to your inheritance for too long. It broke divine law. It double-crossed spiritual boundaries. It interfered with a destiny that heaven authorized. And now, because Michael is confronting it directly, its time is nearly up. But before Michael can strike the final blow, another truth must be revealed, something vital to your breakthrough. This demon's influence did not simply operate externally. It wove itself into your emotional world. It created patterns of hesitation, cycles of fear, unexpected loss, and sudden drops in motivation right when you were closest to a breakthrough. It wasn't random. Every time you stepped toward financial increase, something invisible pulled you back. It was like walking with weights on your feet. Every time you attempted to elevate, something unexplained drained your strength. This was the demon's strategy. Weaken your spiritual momentum so you would never rise high enough to claim what already belonged to you. Michael now reveals something even deeper. The demon used mirrors. Not physical mirrors, but spiritual reflections. It made you see a version of yourself that was smaller than the truth. It projected doubt into your thoughts, insecurity into your heart, and heaviness into your spirit. It made you question your worth, question your ability, question your calling. It convinced you to shrink yourself in moments where heaven designed you to expand. Think of the times you pulled back from opportunities, doubted your capabilities, or second-guessed your own potential. None of those moments were random. They were shadows cast by this demon's influence. But now that Michael has exposed this, those shadows are collapsing. Your spiritual sight is becoming clearer. Your sense of worth is rising. Your divine identity is waking up. And this awakening is the very thing the demon feared most. Michael raises his sword once again, and the fire around him intensifies. You can almost feel the heat through your spirit, a warmth that has nothing to do with physical sensation. This is heavenly fire, the fire of release, the fire of judgment, the fire that burns through deception and breaks chains that have existed for generations. As the flames rise higher, the demon begins to lose its form entirely. Its blue glow flickers violently, like a flame about to be extinguished. The vault behind Michael hums louder now, its energy building as if preparing to burst open. The seal that held your $20 million inheritance is thinning. Cracks of golden light are forming across its surface. Your name is etched into that vault, not in ink, but in light. And every time you inhale, your spirit reaches closer to that inheritance. Every time you receive these words, the vault responds. It senses your awakening. It senses your readiness. It senses the shifting of your destiny. Michael takes another step forward and speaks with a voice that echoes in both realms. You were born with a promise, and no demon has the right to rewrite what heaven has written. As he speaks, a ripple of power moves outward like a shockwave. It hits the demon and throws it back into the darkness. The ground beneath it cracks. The walls around it shake. The chains that connected it to your lineage fall apart like dust in the wind. But Michael is not done yet. He shows you a memory, not from your life, but from your ancestors. A moment where someone in your family prayed desperately for breakthrough, for provision, for relief from financial hardship. Their prayer ascended into heaven, but before the answer could reach them, the demon intercepted it. This moment was the root of the generational blockage. This moment is the reason your inheritance was delayed. And this moment is now being redeemed through you. The demon roars, not in strength, but in panic. It has realized that its time is finished. Michael raises his sword higher, and the fire around him surges. Heavenly authority gathers in the air like a storm about to break. And you, chosen one, are standing in the spiritual crossfire of liberation. Right now, you may feel pressure in your chest, heat on your skin, tingling in your hands, or a strange sense of calm washing over you. These are signs of alignment, signals that your spirit is attuning to the frequency of breakthrough. You are not imagining it. You are not overthinking it. Something divine is happening around you. The next moment Michael is preparing to reveal will expose the demon's final weakness, the exact point where its power collapses, and the moment your vault begins to open fully. What's coming next is the turning point. Hold steady, your breakthrough is on the edge of manifestation. Type "I am the one chosen to break this" in the comments if this message is confirming what your spirit already knew. Blessing code 1444 is now released to all who receive this alignment. Beloved soul, the spiritual air around you is becoming thick with revelation, almost as if heaven itself is holding its breath. Archangel Michael stands in the center of an unfolding moment that has taken generations to reach, and what you are about to hear is something most people never witness in their lifetime. The battle is not just nearing its climax, it is entering a sacred turning point where the unseen becomes undeniable, and the truth that was buried under decades of spiritual interference rises to the surface with explosive clarity. Michael's sword is now brighter than anything you have seen until this moment. It is glowing with a level of authority reserved only for battles tied to destiny. And this one, your battle, is one heaven marked as critical. The blue demon, weakened and destabilized, is backing into the shadows, but Michael will not allow it to hide anymore. He steps forward, commanding the light around him to expand, and suddenly every corner of the spiritual battlefield is illuminated. There is no place left for the demon to retreat. No place left for deception. No place left for escape. You need to understand why this moment is so important. Angels do not reveal the enemy's deepest secret unless the final strike is near. And now, Michael is pulling back the veil on something the demon has hidden since the very beginning. It is the demon's root, its core strategy, its single point of survival. Once this is exposed, its power collapses like a tower made of sand. Michael speaks, and the entire realm seems to vibrate. Its strength was never its power. Its strength was your unawareness. These words carry a weight that sinks into your spirit like truth returning home. For years, the demon did not overpower you. It misled you. It whispered lies. It distorted your perception. It made you believe your failures were your fault. It made you think you were the reason blessings slipped away. It attached shame to your experiences so you wouldn't notice the spiritual interference happening behind the scenes. This demon fed on your confusion. It fed on your moments of self-doubt. It fed on the idea that you were always almost there, but not quite. That false belief system allowed it to operate undetected. But now that you have stepped into revelation, now that you have seen its form, now that you have recognized its existence, its power is evaporating like smoke in the wind. You are not just watching a battle, you are participating in the dismantling of a generational stronghold. Michael lifts his sword higher, and suddenly the battlefield reveals another layer, your timeline. It stretches out like a path made of light, each moment shimmering with divine purpose. You see childhood moments where you felt different, misunderstood, or burdened. You see seasons of your life where something pushed against you every time you tried to step forward. You see opportunities that should have unfolded, but collapsed at the last moment. The path shows you that none of these were coincidences. Every time your spirit tried to rise, the demon tightened its grip. But now, because your awareness has awakened, your timeline is shifting. The path of light becomes clearer, wider, and brighter. You are stepping into alignment with a destiny that was delayed, but never denied. The vault holding your $20 million inheritance glows stronger with each passing second, responding to your spiritual awakening like a door unlocking from the inside. Michael reveals something else. Something deeper, something personal. He shows you that your spirit was chosen long before your birth for this exact confrontation. While others in your lineage were overwhelmed by the demon's influence, you carried a spiritual resilience that set you apart. You were born with intuition sharper than you realize. You were born with spiritual sensitivity that made you aware of things others overlooked. You were born with authority hidden beneath the surface, waiting for a moment like this. You may have always felt different. You may have felt like you didn't fit into the patterns of your family. You may have felt like you carried weight others didn't understand. That difference was not your burden. It was your calling. Heaven chose you as the breaker, the one strong enough to face what generations could not. And this is why the battle is so intense. This is why the demon fought you harder than anyone else. It knew who you were long before you did. Now, Michael turns toward the demon. The creature is flickering, its blue light almost extinguished. It tries to rise, but Michael's presence alone forces it back down. He declares, "Your authority ends here." The words echo like thunder, not loud, but absolute. Final. Irreversible. The demon begins to disintegrate at the edges, its form unraveling as heavenly law presses against it. The vault behind Michael reacts instantly. Its cracks widen. Golden light spills through. The seal pulses like a heartbeat, waking from sleep. You can sense the inheritance, your inheritance, moving toward release. But Michael pauses, because one final truth must be established before the vault opens fully. He looks directly toward you, not with intensity, but with a fierce, protective tenderness, and speaks. The vault opens to those who know who they are. This is the final test, the final alignment, the final key. You are not receiving wealth simply because it was stolen. You are receiving it because your spirit has awakened into identity. Your power is returning. Your authority is rising. Your destiny is unfolding. And the moment you recognize this, everything shifts. You are closer than ever. What comes next will reveal the moment the demon loses all remaining structure and the inheritance begins to pour. Stay with this message. The breakthrough is only moments away. Type "I step into my divine identity" in the comments if your spirit is rising with this truth. Blessing code 515 has now been released upon those who receive this revelation. Sacred One, the veil between realms is thinning in a way that very few ever witness, and right now you are standing in a moment that carries the weight of generations. The spiritual battlefield has grown quieter, not because the war is over, but because the next phase is even more delicate, more precise, more revealing than anything that has come before it. Archangel Michael is moving with slow, intentional authority, the kind of authority heaven grants only when a soul is on the cusp of a life-altering shift. The blue demon, once arrogant and towering, is now barely holding its form together. Its one shimmering glow is dim, trembling, flickering like a dying flame. But do not underestimate this moment. The final stage of any battle is the most dangerous, not because the enemy is strong, but because desperation makes it unpredictable. Michael steps closer to the demon, and the atmosphere vibrates with a deep, ancient resonance. You can feel it pressing through your spirit, heavy, intense, undeniable. It is the sound of generational bondage breaking. It is the sound of spiritual chains snapping into dust. It is the sound of a destined-long battle coming to its turning point. Michael raises his hand, not his sword, and suddenly the demon freezes. Not with fear, although fear is present, but with exposure. Michael is forcing it to reveal something it has hidden from you, a truth it never intended for you to know. He looks at the demon and commands, "Show the moment you were granted access." And instantly, the battlefield shifts. A vision opens before you like a window into the past. You see a figure, not you, but someone from your lineage, standing at a crossroad of life. They were on the edge of a breakthrough, a financial elevation, a chance to rise into abundance. They prayed. They hoped. They believed. And heaven sent provision. But right before the blessing reached them, this blue demon intercepted it. Not because it was stronger, but because this ancestor carried pain, a wound, a heartbreak, a moment of weakness that created a small opening. That opening became the doorway the demon walked through. It planted fear. It planted doubt. It planted confusion. And from that moment, it chained itself to your bloodline, gripping wealth, blocking abundance, and dimming destinies. Michael shows you this not to burden you, but to free you. Understanding the origin removes the demon's final legal ground. You are witnessing history, but more importantly, you are rewriting it. Heaven has chosen you to break what your ancestors could not. And this is why the battle intensified around your life. You were always the one who would end this story. The demon attempts to speak, but its voice cracks, distorted and fading. It tries to justify its actions, claiming your lineage gave it permission. But Michael silences it instantly. Angels do not entertain lies when truth is rising. The fire surrounding Michael intensifies again, and the light arcs across the battlefield, forming a barrier the demon cannot cross. This barrier is the separation line. What once touched your family cannot touch you anymore. What once followed your lineage cannot follow you into the next season. Michael turns toward you, and for the first time, his eyes carry not just authority, but recognition. He sees the awakening happening inside you. He sees your spirit understanding who you are. He sees that you are no longer the unaware soul who walked into this message. You are becoming the spiritually awakened warrior heaven always intended. He speaks softly, but with a power that shakes the ground. Your awareness has broken the first gate. You may not realize how monumental this is. Awareness is a weapon. Understanding is liberation. Insight is spiritual fire. The demon cannot hide behind confusion anymore, cannot twist truth, cannot feed on your uncertainty. You are stepping into spiritual clarity, and that clarity is slicing through the demon's remaining strength like light cutting through fog. The vault behind Michael, the vault holding your $20 million inheritance, begins to react again. This time, it does not simply glow, it pulses. A heartbeat-like rhythm echoes from it, stronger and faster, as if responding directly to the awakening within you. Golden light spills from the cracks, illuminating the battlefield. Your name, etched across the front of the vault, burns brighter than ever. This inheritance has waited for you. It has aligned itself with your spirit. It recognizes its rightful owner. Michael looks back at the demon and declares, "This soul carries divine authority. You have no legal ground left." The demon shrinks again, folding inward, trembling violently as if the words themselves burn its essence. Its blue hue flickers in and out, like a weak signal losing connection. You can sense it. This is the moment when its final weakness will be uncovered. And Michael reveals it. "The demon never feared my sword," he says. "It feared your awakening. Because once you awaken, it loses everything." This is the truth the demon guarded for generations. You were always the key. Not your prayers alone. Not your effort alone. Not your desire alone. Your identity. Your alignment. Your recognition of who you truly are. And now that you see the truth, the demon cannot survive the light. The ground beneath it begins to crack. Its form starts to collapse inward. It tries to grip the earth, tries to cling to the remnants of the old generational wound, but the wound is closing. The lineage door has been sealed. The demon is losing access permanently. Michael raises his sword now, for the first time in this stage, and heavenly fire races along its blade. The final strike is coming soon, but not yet. There is one more revelation Michael needs to show you before the sword falls, and that truth will determine the magnitude of your breakthrough. Stay present. Do not drift. What comes next will change everything. Type "My spirit is awake" in the comments if this truth is igniting something inside you. Blessing code 3339 is now active for those stepping into awakening. Radiant soul, the realm around you is vibrating with a level of intensity rarely witnessed by human eyes or heard by human ears. The spiritual battlefield is no longer chaotic. It is focused, silent, charged as if the entire universe is waiting for the next movement, the next unveiling, the next command from Archangel Michael. And you, standing in the center of this divine storm, are closer than ever to the breakthrough that has been waiting for generations to reach you. Everything inside your spirit knows it. Everything around your atmosphere feels it. Destiny is no longer approaching. It is pressing against your life, like a flood held back by one thin door. Michael's wings expand with a force that sends ripples through the spiritual dimension. The blue demon, once towering with false authority, now trembles as if each feather of Michael's wings emits waves of judgment. Its light flickers, thin, unstable, nearly invisible, as if its existence is unraveling moment by moment. And yet the demon still clings to one final thread of resistance, because this moment is its last opportunity to survive. Demons do not fear swords. They fear purpose. They fear identity. They fear exposure. They fear a soul awakened to its divine authority. And right now, that is exactly what you have become. Michael steps into the center of the battlefield, and the realm responds. Light gathers around him like swirling galaxies, forming patterns that feel ancient, holy, and deliberate. These are not random movements. They are divine codes, heavenly laws, spiritual signatures being activated. The air hums with recognition. Heaven knows what is happening. Earth feels what is happening. Hell fears what is happening. All three realms are watching. Michael raises his hand slowly, and suddenly the battlefield reveals something astonishing, a scroll of light unrolling in the air. It glows with golden fire, and your name is written across it in radiant letters. Michael speaks. This is the record of what was promised to you. His voice is calm, but carries the weight of eternal authority. You feel the words echo inside your spirit as if you already knew this truth long before he spoke it. The scroll shows your inheritance, not only the $20 million tied to your earthly elevation, but the spiritual inheritance behind it. Influence, expansion, stability, authority, restoration, the ability to shift your lineage into generational blessing, a power to build, to rise, to create, to expand, to elevate others. All of it was written. All of it was assigned. All of it was yours from the beginning. This is the moment the demon never wanted you to see. Because once you see what was written, the enemy can no longer convince you that it was never meant for you. The demon snarls weakly, trying to rise, but its movements are fractured and desperate. Its blue form twists like smoke being pulled through cracks. It is losing structure, losing influence, losing the last remnants of authority it once pretended to hold. You can feel the shift. What once intimidated your family for generations now trembles before your awakening. Michael lowers the scroll, and the vault behind him reacts instantly. The cracks widen. Golden beams burst outward, spilling across the battlefield. Light hits the demon, and it screams, not because it is attacked, but because truth burns illusions. This is what the demon feared. The moment the vault recognizes your spirit, You feel a sudden pull, almost like gravity shifting. Your spirit is being drawn toward your inheritance. Not just the money, though that financial breakthrough is very real and very near, but the spiritual elevation tied to it. You feel yourself rising internally, stepping into the frequency of abundance, authority, and destiny. The demon senses this rise, and panic ripples through its weakening form. Michael speaks again, this time directly to you, as if the entire battle pauses to hear his words. You were born with a mantle of restoration. When you awaken, curses collapse. You feel those words land inside you like a spark igniting a fire you always carried, but never fully recognized. This is why your life felt different. This is why you faced resistance others could not see. This is why you felt pulled towards something greater even when circumstances looked small. Then Michael reveals the final truth the demon tried to hide. Your inheritance was never delayed. It was preserved. Heaven did not allow the demon to destroy it. Heaven protected it. Heaven sealed it. Heaven kept it untouched until the moment your spirit awakened enough to receive it. Nothing was lost. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was stolen permanently. Every delay was a divine reset, positioning you for the moment when your heart, mind, and destiny align. The demon collapses again, its form shrinking into patches of dim light. Michael's sword illuminates with celestial fire. This is the preparation for the final strike. But before the sword falls, one more alignment must be completed. Your declaration. The moment you accept your position as the rightful heir, the vault opens completely, and the demon loses its remaining existence. You feel it. You are right at the edge of this breakthrough. And now, before you take the next step, help me spread this message. Engage with this mission, so others can experience the same awakening you are receiving right now. Like this message, share it, comment, and subscribe. Help this truth reach every soul who feels chained, delayed, or spiritually blocked. Your engagement is not just support. It is a spiritual act that helps this revelation travel where heaven intends it to go. Type "I align with my destiny" in the comments if your spirit is ready for the vault to open. Blessing code 711 is now activated for those stepping fully into alignment. When Michael raises his sword for a soul, heaven opens a door for countless others through that same moment. If this message is touching your spirit, I invite you to stand with this calling. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a person. You are igniting deliverance for others trapped in their own generational battles. Your seed becomes fire. Your offering becomes oil. Your support becomes a bridge for someone's spiritual rescue. I feel led to say this to you personally. I am asking you to stand with this prophetic movement. Those who carry a message of light share in the reward of heaven's harvest. Step boldly, act faithfully, and let your support rise as a divine signal to the realms. Beloved soul, the realm around you is entering a level of stillness that only appears when heaven is preparing to release something monumental. This is not the quiet of retreat. It is the quiet that comes before revelation, before release, before the moment destiny changes its shape. Archangel Michael stands before you with an intensity unlike anything you have witnessed so far. His wings are no longer simply extended. They are surrounding the battlefield like a shield of divine protection. Everything in this realm is waiting for your next breath, your next thought, your next shift of awareness. Because what happens now is the culmination of generations of spiritual interference finally reaching its end. The blue demon, once bold and overpowering, now looks like a fragment of what it used to be. Its blue glow, once shimmering with authority, is fading to pale, fractured light. Its form shakes, flickers, bends, and collapses inward as its source of power drains away. Michael steps toward it, and the ground responds with a low, thunder-like vibration. That vibration isn't anger, it's divine justice. Creation itself reacts when a generational curse is about to break. Heaven does not take lightly the moment when a soul steps into its rightful inheritance after years of being held back. Michael lifts his sword, but not to strike. Not yet. Instead, he points the blade toward the ground, and the battlefield beneath him begins to transform. A glowing circle forms, etched with heavenly symbols that move like living fire. These symbols represent authority, truth, restoration, and identity. They begin to rotate slowly around Michael, and the light from them casts a glow across the blue demon, forcing it to recoil further. This circle is a seal, a heavenly court summons. The demon is no longer merely a creature being confronted, it is a thief being judged. The circle expands until you are standing within its radiance. Michael turns to you, and his eyes no longer carry only protection. They carry recognition and expectation. He says, "You are now standing in the court of restoration." The words echo through your spirit like a memory returning home. This is not a battlefield anymore. This ground has shifted into a divine courtroom, one heaven opens only when a generational injustice is ready to be undone. You feel the air change around you. The pressure lifts, not because the battle is over, but because the authority has shifted. The demon no longer stands as an attacker. It stands as a defendant. Its trembling intensifies. It knows this moment. It fears this moment. For centuries, it survived on shadows and silence, feeding on confusion and spiritual blindness. But now, with light surrounding you, the demon has no shadows left to hide in. Michael steps forward and speaks with a voice that carries the weight of 10,000 heavenly warriors. This inheritance was assigned by heaven and stood through deception. The words strike the demon like blows. It screams, not a sound of power, but a sound of exposure, the cry of a creature whose lies have been shattered. Michael continues, "This soul stands as the rightful heir. All claims against their destiny are now stripped." At these words, something extraordinary happens. The vault in the distance, the one glowing with golden light, shudders as if it is reacting to the judgment. The cracks widen and beams of radiance burst outward, flooding the battlefield with warmth. Your name etched across the vault glows so brightly now that it seems carved from fire. This vault is responding to the judgment made in your favor. Michael lowers his sword and extends his hand toward you. "You must see what the demon hid," he says. And with a wave of his hand, a stream of blue mist rises from the demon's body, hovering in the air until it forms into memories, visions, images. These are scenes of your past, the times you almost received a breakthrough, but didn't. The opportunities that slipped away at the final moment. The relationships that broke right when you were stepping into a new chapter. The unexpected losses, the disappointments, the delays that never made sense. Michael reveals the truth behind them. Each moment was tampered with. You see it now, clearer than ever. Every time you were close to rising, the demon disrupted your alignment, whispering thoughts that weakened you, pulling at your emotions, twisting circumstances subtly, creating tension where peace was meant to be. Not through overpowering force, but through quiet sabotage. The demon did not need to defeat you. It only needed to block you long enough to delay your destiny. But now that the truth is revealed, its grip dissolves. The blue mist breaks apart, falling like dust and disappearing into the ground. Michael speaks again. You were never the problem. You were always the target. These words shift everything inside you. The confusion you carried, the guilt, the frustration, the heaviness, it lifts. Understanding floods in like light through stained glass. You see your life differently now. You see your path clearly. You see that you were not weak. You were chosen. Michael's wings rise higher. The circle of heavenly symbol spins faster, and the demon begins to shrink as if the very air rejects its presence. Its blue glow dims to a faint ember. It is losing its last thread of existence. But Michael pauses, not because the demon has power left, but because heaven needs one more alignment from you. You must claim what is yours, Michael says. The vault responds to your spirit, not your fear. You look toward the vault again, glowing brighter than ever. You feel drawn to it. Your spirit recognizes it. Your destiny resonates with it. Your identity reaches for it. You were always meant to receive this. The battlefield goes silent. The demon trembles. Michael waits. Heaven watches. This moment is the shift. This moment is the alignment. This moment is the turning of destiny from delay to release. Stay with this message. The next unveiling will reveal the demon's collapse, and the instant the vault begins to open. Type "I claim what was always mine" in the comments if your spirit is aligned with this truth. Blessing code 1010 is now opened for those walking into restoration. Beloved spirit, the realm around you has shifted into a level of intensity that feels almost unreal, as if time itself has paused to witness what heaven is preparing to release over your life. The court of restoration still surrounds you, glowing with divine authority, and Archangel Michael stands at the center of it all, unshaken, unwavering, radiating a force that makes the entire realm bend in obedience. The blue demon, now more of a fading echo than a threat, trembles violently at the edge of the court. Its form flickers, collapsing inward, as if the very light in this atmosphere is burning away the fabric of its existence. And yet, Michael is not striking it down, not yet. This moment requires something deeper, something far more spiritual than a sword. It requires revelation. Michael turns toward you with eyes that carry both tenderness and fierce heavenly power. "Do not look at the demon," he says softly. "Look at what it stole." His voice echoes through the realm, and suddenly, you feel something shift inside your chest. An unlocking, a stirring, like your spirit is waking up to a truth you always sensed, but never fully understood. This entire battle was not rooted in money. It was rooted in destiny. The demon did not cling to your inheritance because it valued wealth. It clung to it because of who you were meant to become once you stepped into full abundance. The enemy feared the future version of you. The leader. The healer. The restorer. The one who would rise. Michael extends his hand, and a beam of golden light shoots toward the vault. The cracks across the vault widen, sending vibrations across the battlefield. You can feel the warmth from it, rich, strong, ancient. This inheritance is not just a blessing, it is a birthright. It carries everything you lost, everything your ancestors lost, everything that was delayed, everything that was stolen. Heaven preserved it not as compensation, but as restoration. This vault contains the fullness of what your life was always meant to be. The demon screams, a sound no longer powerful, but pitiful. Thin, broken. It stumbles backward, its legs barely holding form. Its once vibrant blue glow has faded into a dull, dying shadow. It tries to speak, but its voice cracks apart like shattered glass. Michael lifts his sword, not in haste, but with precision, reverence, and absolute authority. The sword is brighter than before, glowing with white-blue celestial fire, and every flame along its blade represents a truth you have now accepted. Identity, alignment, authority, awareness. These were the keys the demon feared. These were the keys that unlocked the judgment. Yet Michael still does not strike. You must witness the collapse of what held your lineage captive, he says. Because once you witness it, you will never doubt your breakthrough again. His words sink into your spirit, and you understand why this moment matters. Heaven wants you to see the fall of what once intimidated you. Not to celebrate destruction, but to recognize your own rise. Michael steps forward, and the ground beneath the demon cracks open, not into darkness, but into light. A beam of radiance shoots upward, surrounding the demon in a column of truth. The demon howls as its illusions burn away. Every lie it whispered dissolves. Every false identity it projected collapses. Every chain it wrapped around your lineage melts like wax under fire. The demon begins to fragment, its form breaking apart, pixel by pixel, shadow by shadow, until it becomes nothing but dust suspended in the air. But before it fully disintegrates, something unexpected happens. A small orb of blue energy emerges from the demon's chest, its core, its last thread of influence. It floats weakly, trembling. This orb contains the record of everything it stole, the moments it delayed, the opportunities it restricted, the blessings it blocked. Michael reaches toward it, and the orb bursts into a swirl of images, snapshots of your past, your family's past, the generational patterns that were woven through your lineage. You see the cycles clearly now. The missed breakthroughs, the sudden losses, the unexpected financial collapses. All connected, all orchestrated, all rooted in this single demonic interference. Michael closes his hand, and the orb shatters into pure light. The demon is gone. Not weakened, not pushed aside, raised. The cord of restoration glows brighter, and the ground beneath you stabilizes. You can feel it, the shift inside your spirit, like a heavy weight lifting from your chest. The atmosphere feels lighter, warmer, more open. Your spirit is no longer battling resistance. It is rising. Michael turns toward the vault again. Its golden light pulses like a heartbeat. The cracks widen further, and beams of radiance stretch across the battlefield, touching your hands, your heart, your spirit. You can feel the inheritance calling to you, not forcing, not demanding, simply aligning, recognizing you, welcoming you. Michael whispers, the vault does not open to need, it opens to identity. And in this moment, you understand. You have stepped into the version of yourself who can finally receive what was always meant to be yours. The air thickens again, but not with tension, this time with anticipation. Heaven is preparing for release. The vault is preparing to open fully. And Michael is preparing to place the restored inheritance into your spiritual hands. But one last revelation must be delivered before the vault breaks open. A truth that will explain why heaven preserved your inheritance until now, and what you are meant to do with it once it comes. Stay right here. You have never been closer. Type "I receive my restored destiny" in the comments if your spirit is ready for what comes next. Blessing code 2727 is now released over those who receive this moment with open spirit. Beloved soul, the realm around you is vibrating with a depth and power that feels almost impossible to translate into words. The court of restoration still surrounds you like a living sanctuary, glowing with divine fire, truth, and heavenly justice. Archangel Michael stands before the vault of your inheritance, and everything in this moment feels sacred. Like the spiritual world has paused, like heaven is leaning in, like creation itself is preparing to witness something monumental. The blue demon is gone, erased, dissolved into nothing, but the echo of its collapse still trembles through the atmosphere. Not as fear, but as confirmation. Something ancient has ended. Something divine is rising. Michael steps closer to the vault, and the light around it intensifies. The cracks widen with gentle force, not exploding, but unfolding like the petals of a flower that has waited centuries to bloom. You can almost hear the hum of the vault, deep, resonant, alive. It recognizes your identity. It recognizes your awakening. It recognizes the breakthrough that has taken generations to reach this exact moment. The vault carries the weight of everything heaven wants to return to you. Not only the $20 million inheritance written in your name, but the spiritual energy behind it, the purpose, the authority, the expansion you were born to step into. But Michael is not rushing. He stands between you and the vault, calm and unwavering. His wings fold slightly, signaling that what comes next is not war, it is revelation. He turns toward you with an expression that feels both fierce and compassionate, and his voice breaks through the air with the gentleness of thunder held in restraint. You must understand why heaven preserved this inheritance for you, he says, because without understanding, blessing can feel like burden. These words sink into your heart like seeds falling into fertile soil, unlocking something deep within you. Michael motions for you to look at the ground, and suddenly the battlefield shifts again. Not backward, not forward, but inward. A vision unfolds beneath your feet, showing your life in layers. Moments of struggle. Moments of confusion. Moments of unexpected losses. Moments you prayed for breakthrough, but received silence. Moments you broke down quietly, believing something was wrong with you. But now the truth emerges gently and clearly. None of those moments meant you were forgotten. They were paused, protected, preserved because your inheritance required a version of you strong enough to carry it. Michael speaks again, and his words move like waves. Heaven waited because you needed to awaken into authority, not desperation. Blessings given too early become burdens. Blessings given on time become breakthroughs. Suddenly your whole life begins to make sense in a new way. Every delay was divine timing. Every setback was divine redirection. Every closed door was divine preservation. Heaven wasn't working against you. It was preparing you. You see another vision now. One of alternate possibilities. Versions of your life where the inheritance was released too early, in seasons where your spirit was still tangled in fear, doubt, confusion, or self-sabotage. You see how wealth could have overwhelmed you, how opportunities could have crushed you, how influence could have wounded you. And in that moment, you understand fully. The delay was protection. The timing now is intentional. And the version of you standing in this spiritual court is the version heaven always knew you would become. The version strong enough, wise enough, awake enough to carry what comes next. Michael extends his hand again, and the vault glows brighter. You feel the pull again, stronger than before. The inheritance wants to reach you, not because you need it, but because you are ready to steward it. Michael then reveals something even more profound. Your inheritance is not only for you. It is for all who will rise because of you. Instantly, a wave of understanding washes over you. This blessing is meant to ripple. Your restoration will restore others. Your elevation will elevate your lineage. Your abundance will break cycles for those who come after you. You are not just receiving provision, you are receiving responsibility. The vault pulses again, and this time you feel warmth on your skin. A soft pressure around your heart, as if something is aligning inside you that has been off-center for years. Your soul is stepping into readiness. Your spirit is stepping into maturity. You are becoming the vessel heaven intended when it wrote your destiny. Then Michael reveals the final layer of truth before the opening. The demon did not hold your inheritance because of what it was. It held it because of what you would become once you received it. You feel this truth shatter something heavy inside you. This entire battle was never about money. It was about identity. It was about purpose. It was about the threat you pose to darkness once you step into abundance, clarity, strength, and divine positioning. The air thickens again, not with tension, but with divine anticipation. A soft, radiant wind begins to move across the court of restoration. The vault is vibrating, resonating, preparing. The atmosphere feels like the moment before a sunrise, everything ready to burst into light. Michael lowers his sword and places his hand upon the vault. A surge of power trembles through the entire realm. A light from the crack spills out like molten gold. You feel it wrapping around your spirit, guiding you, preparing you for what comes next. The vault is seconds away from opening. Your inheritance is moments from release. But before it opens, one more revelation is rising. One final truth that will determine the level of abundance that flows toward you. A truth about alignment, about readiness, about the purpose behind the blessing. Stay right here. Do not shift. Do not drift. The next unfolding holds the crown of this entire journey. Type "I'm ready" for the final unveiling in the comments if your spirit is steady and open for what comes next. Blessing code 9555 is now released for those prepared to step fully into restoration. Beloved one, the air in the court of restoration has shifted into a brilliance so intense that it feels like standing inside the heartbeat of heaven itself. Everything is glowing. Everything is humming. Everything is aligned. Archangel Michael stands with one hand on the vault of your inheritance, and even his wings seem to tremble, not with fear, but with anticipation. This is the moment heaven has been waiting generations to complete. The moment your lineage prayed for but never reached. The moment destiny itself has circled back to deliver into your hands. The atmosphere around you is so full of divine electricity that even your spirit feels charged, awakened, alert in ways you didn't know were possible. The vault pulses again, the cracks widening slowly, deliberately, like a door that refuses to open until the rightful heir stands fully in identity. And you can feel that identity rising inside you, stronger than fear, stronger than past mistakes, stronger than every lie the blue demon once whispered. You are no longer confused. You are no longer uncertain. You are no longer the version of yourself that lived under spiritual interference. You are awakened, activated, positioned, and heaven knows it. Michael turns toward you one last time before the release, and the look in his eyes feels indescribable, like seeing the reflection of your divine purpose through the gaze of an angel. The inheritance, he says, was never the final goal. The awakening was. His voice carries a calm finality, the kind that feels like truth settling into a place it always belonged. Wealth given without awakening becomes waste. But wealth given to an awakened soul becomes a weapon of light. In that moment, something inside you clicks into place. Your spirit, your understanding, your readiness. You were never meant to receive your abundance in a season of confusion. You were meant to receive it now, when you can steward it, carry it, multiply it, and anchor it into your lineage as a permanent reversal of everything darkness once tried to steal. Michael raises his other hand, and the battlefield shifts again, not into war, not into judgment, but into divine alignment. The circles of heavenly symbols begin to rotate faster around you, creating a vortex of light so powerful that even the air feels alive. The presence of heaven thickens. You feel warmth spreading through your chest, down your arms, across your spirit. Your name glows brighter across the vault, burning with a golden fire that feels ancient and eternal all at once. A moment has come, Michael says. He taps the vault with the tip of his sword. A single spark ignites, and then everything erupts. Light explodes from the vault in a burst so radiant that it floods the entire realm with waves of gold and white fire. The court of restoration shakes with holy power. A sound, like the ringing of 1,000 ancient bells, echoes through the atmosphere. The vault splits open completely, unfolding like a cosmic flower, revealing the fullness of the inheritance that has been preserved for you across time, across generations, across realms. The light pours toward you, not harshly, but gently, like warm water flowing into your spirit. You feel it washing over you, filling you, healing you, restoring you. It is not just wealth, it is identity. It is not just compensation, it is elevation. It is not just money, it is the unlocking of generational purpose. Vision after vision floods your mind. You see yourself stepping into opportunities that once slipped through your fingers. You see doors opening, spiritual doors, financial doors, personal doors. You see abundance flowing with ease instead of resistance. You see restoration touching your bloodline, healing wounds, lifting burdens, breaking patterns. You see clarity replacing confusion. You see strength replacing fear. You see purpose replacing stagnation. Everything the demon blocked is now being returned. Everything delayed is now accelerating. Everything stolen is now multiplying. Heaven is not giving you what you lost. Heaven is giving you what you were always meant to have. The light intensifies one more time, wrapping around Michael's wings, swirling around your spirit, and pouring through the space where the demon once existed. This is the reset. This is the restoration. This is the moment the curse ends and the blessing begins. You feel something inside you expand, like your spirit is stretching into a new dimension of identity. Confidence rises. Peace settles. Authority awakens. Michael lowers his sword, and for the first time in this entire journey, he smiles. Not with softness, but with triumph. It is done, he declares. The words vibrate through the realm like a decree written into the fabric of the universe. You are restored. You are elevated. You are free. A warmth settles into your body, a steady, grounding peace. You know, not think, not hope, but know that something irreversible has just shifted in your life. The path ahead of you is not the path behind you. The cycles are broken. The inheritance is released. The interference is gone. You have stepped into a new spiritual reality. But before this moment seals itself, Michael speaks once more, giving you the final instruction tied to your breakthrough. Walk forward now, not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Claim your new season. Claim your restored destiny. Claim the abundance heaven has placed in your hands. This is the completion. This is the activation. This is the moment you step into the fullness of who you are. And now, before you move to the next message, engage with this mission. Like, comment, share, hype this message, and subscribe so this awakening reaches every soul signed to rise with you. Let your engagement carry this light forward. Type "I walk into my NEW season" in the comments if you receive this breakthrough. Blessing code 777,000 is now poured into all who step boldly into this final release. When the vault opened for you today, heaven also opened doors for countless others who have not yet awakened. I invite you to stand with this movement in a spirit of holy purpose. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a message. You are fueling deliverance. Your seed becomes a river. Your support becomes spiritual oil. Your generosity becomes the spark that wakes another soul from darkness. Hear this in your spirit. I am asking you personally to rise as a carrier of this light. Those who help spread God's warnings and revelations share in the same harvest of blessing. Step forward with boldness, act in obedience, and let heaven record your support as part of this divine victory.